Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and today we're going to fix a power steering leak. And so this can happen on multiple lines here. This one happens to be this one going through here. It's a high pressure line that goes down to the pump. And so what you're going to want to do is lift the car into the air. And so we like to lift back here and then put the jack stand up front. And you can do that on the other side now or later, but you'll have to have both wheels in the air at some point. But anyway, here's the line going into the pump, and there was a bracket on here that has been removed, so you'd have to remove that too. But you'll notice here how loose this is, and it's designed to move back and forth, but not be this loose, and you can obviously see that it's leaking. So we're going to put a new Teflon seal on it, and so this is it here. I'll put a link in the description of where you can get these. And so what you're going to need is an 18 millimeter wrench. Now the problem is it's really tight up in there, so these crow's feet come in handy. I didn't have an 18 millimeter one, so you can get a penny or something and wrap it around it to close that gap just slightly. Sometimes you just got to improvise a little bit, but anyway, you can wrap that to make it work. But this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have an extension with the crow's foot, and I'll show you here's the reason why. You can see this fits on there perfect, and as you rotate it, you can actually move that bolt or that nut compared to if you had the 18 millimeter wrench. As you can see here, it's kind of hard to get in here. You hit the oil filter housing, you hit the power steering pulley itself, and so anyway, that helps if you have that crow's foot. Okay, now we're going to get under here and put a bunch of cardboard down and some form of catching it, either a bucket or little cups like this. And so we went ahead and broke that line loose, and as we removed it, it started to leak, and we were able to catch a good amount of it in these cups. And if you want to do that, you can and reuse it, or if it's bad fluid anyway, then you can just plan on buying new fluid. But you can see here we caught a good amount, and so this is what it looks like now with the line undone, and it will now come out entirely. So once we've turned that nut all the way out, then the whole end of the line comes out, and it's going to retain the nut on the end. Okay, so here's our nylon ring, and it's going to have to go over this line. Now the rings are designed to be smaller, so you'll notice it doesn't fit right over it. And we're going to have to stretch this ring out, and so you can do it kind of by hand with your thumbs or on a resizing tool. Okay, so there's a few methods of stretching this. If you have something like this where you can put it on and it gradually gets bigger, then that's perfect. You can just kind of walk it on until it resizes it to a bigger size. Okay, you might even be able to get it over the front of something like this where it bevels and stretches it out. So you'll just have to see what you can find. Worst case scenario, just pull it apart with your thumbs. Just kind of stretch it a little bit, but it's just got to stretch just enough to get back over that front of that line and get onto those threads. Okay, so it's on the very tip. We've got it started. Now we're just going to kind of go around and work it down the threads. Okay, so it's kind of a small and tedious process here, but you're just going around little by little and going one thread at a time, helping walk its way down the threads. So just follow the threads, and sometimes using your fingernail or whatnot, you can get it to just click down to the next one. But just go thread by thread until it goes down. And when you work to the very bottom, you'll see the flat spot right there. And that's where this ring belongs. So you can see where the threads end, and there's just one small metal looking flat area for the ring to go on to. Okay, now this is optional here. If you want to, you can put just a dab of this RTV surrounding it. Make sure it's obviously not going down into the tip of the line where the fluid's running. And that way when you drive it on, it should form a nice little seal. Okay, next you'll just put the line back up in there, and sometimes turning the wrench vertical can help you if you don't have that crow's foot. But you'll just tighten this down until it's completely snug. So just make sure that it's nice and tight up in there, and we are missing a bracket we need to put on later. Okay, now we need to make sure that both of the wheels are in the air. So you want to make sure that you have jacks and jack stands on each side to make sure that it's safe. Okay, so now what we're going to do is add power steering fluid to the reservoir. And the whole point here is we do not want the level to get so low that it starts sucking air in. If the level gets too low and starts sucking air in, you have to start over again. Now you're going to want to get in and start the car up, and keep in mind, as soon as you do, it will suck that fluid down. Okay, so you're adding fluid the whole time, making sure that it doesn't go too low. So you're going to go all the way to the left, and then you're going to go all the way to the right. And you're going to check that level. Okay, so if you don't have a second person to help you, you'll get out and just keep checking that level. All the way to the left. Yeah, let it do that current, let it do that noise to get pressure. Okay, so just continue that process and check for any leaks. If it does continue to leak, you may need to remove the line again and put a grommet up in the tip if it's been beat around and deformed. So hopefully that doesn't happen to you. And otherwise, thanks for watching. Please feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, guys.